Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. The 83rd Golden Globe ceremony will air on CBS Sunday, January 11th. You may recall 2 years ago, Joe Coy hosted it and told it just a terrible, mean joke about Taylor Swift, but I don't have time for that today. This year's host is Nikki Glaser, and let's take a look at some of the comedy nominations. We'll begin with Best Performance in Stand-Up Comedy on Television. The nominees are Bill Maher for Is Anyone Else Seeing This? And I think the answer there is no. I haven't seen anyone talk about that special all year. Also nominated Brett Goldstein, The Second Best Night of Your Life. I like that special a lot. Kevin Hart, Acting My Age, which I have as my number 2 special. And again, I'll put out my list on Saturday. Kumail Nanjiani's Night Thoughts. Apparently, people seem to like this one, or his press people are good. A lot of buzz on that one. It's coming out on Hulu later in the month. Ricky Gervais' Mortality and Sarah Silverman's Postmortem, which was really good. All right, out of Maher, Goldstein, Hart, Kumail, Ricky, Sarah. So I think artistically, I like Sarah's the best, but in terms of just my ranking, I have Kevin Hart top of this group. I guess I would have to give it to Kevin Hart. I kind of want to give it to Sarah, but that doesn't make sense if I have Kevin ranked higher than Sarah. How do you judge that? Are we just going by funniest, or should I go by the art? Because if I go by the art, Sarah did it. Of course, the entire thing is madness that Marc Maron is not nominated, but maybe he didn't submit himself for an award, which seems like a very Marc Maron thing to do. I don't know how it works. The nominations for Best TV Series, Musical or Comedy: Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Hacks, Nobody Wants This, Only Murders, The Studio. The Bear is clearly not a comedy. I'd say Hacks out of that group. Best Performance by an Actor in a TV Series, Music or Comedy: Adam Brody, Nobody Wants This, Steve Martin for Murders, Glenn Powell, Chad Powers, Seth Rogen, The Studio. Martin Short, Murders, Jeremy Allen White, The Bear, which is not a comedy. The industry loves fawning over themselves, and they really like the very, very overrated The Studio. Seth Rogen will win there. If I had to give it to somebody, I don't even have a pick. Best Performance by an Actress in a TV Series, Musical or Comedy: Kristen Bell, Nobody Wants This, Ayu Adebari, The Bear, which is not a comedy, Selena Gomez, Murders, Natasha Lyonne, Poker Face, Jenna Ortega, Wednesday, Gene Smart, Hacks. I'd give it to Gene. Best Podcast: Dax Shepard, Call Her Daddy, Amy Poehler, The Mel Robbins Podcast, Smartless, and Up First. And as I posted on LinkedIn, hey guys, this is a TV show. I actually listen to Up First most days. They're not going to, like, at 9:30 on CBS be like, and here's the guys from NPR Up First. Amy Poehler's going to win this one. If she doesn't, Dax Shepard will. The Carol Burnett Award will go to Sarah Jessica Parker. Billboard put out their list of the top 25 comedians of the 21st century so far. I'm going to rip off that idea and do my own version later in the month. Ricky Gervais posted on social media, "This is so American-centric. I'm genuinely surprised to be on it at all. But to be fair, it's a pretty fine list, and I'm a fan of most of the people above me, so it's all good." In a social media clip, Ricky Gervais talked about his tour and his special. He also talked about his vodka, but I'll play the vodka part tomorrow. But here's Ricky.
Hello, Ricky Gervais here. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who bought a ticket to my Mortality tour, and everyone who tried. It's probably my favourite tour so far. The special drops on Netflix on the 30th of December. So if you like the show, or if you like my previous shows, then you're gonna love the special. It's more me than ever. If you didn't like my previous shows, you'll hate it. You'll hate it more than... Don't watch it. It'll make you sad and angry. Don't even watch the trailers, because they'll make you... Oh, and you'll post something about them. Oh, there's some... No one will care, and that'll make you sadder and angrier. Watch something you do like and talk to your little friends. Doctor Who. You'll love that. Watch Doctor Who.
David Letterman will be the guest on Jimmy Kimmel Live tonight. Make 12:30 great again. The team behind the British version of Saturday Night Live have slightly tapped into Seth Meyers to help them out. Seth told Graham Norton, "I had doubts about it at first, but having spent a week here meeting potential writers and cast, it's very exciting. There are so many young, funny people and a great comedic skill set here. I think it's going to be great." Chortle reports a transcript of Seth's comments released to journalists initially said that Seth Meyers had explicitly said, quote, "I am involved," unquote, in the UK project. After several hours after Chortle reported that, a publicist for the show said the transcript was inaccurate. Interesting. A briefing from the Sky channel has asked cast and writers to be available from mid-January to early April. That suggests a timetable for that program. The President of the United States, who's doing nothing about Star Trek. Have you seen this trailer for Starfleet Academy? Oh my God, just Mr. Trump, you got to do something about this. He's out there hosting TV shows. He was hosting the Kennedy Center Awards on Sunday night, and he compared himself to a previous host of the event, saying Jimmy Kimmel was horrible. If I can't beat out Jimmy Kimmel in terms of talent, then I don't think I should be president. Interestingly, Jimmy Kimmel has hosted the Kennedy Center Awards as many times as I have. We are tied at 0. The president told reporters, "We've never had a president hosting the awards before. This is the first." I'm sure they'll give me great reviews, right? You know, they'll say, he was horrible, he was terrible. It was a horrible situation. The president was confident and said, "We'll do fine." We'll take a break from comedy for a second to talk about a dramatic movie. Jay Kelly, George Clooney, and the great dramatic actor Adam Sandler. I absolutely loved the movie. Among the reasons I loved it, it's a movie. It's not what I call The Avengers, where everything's a 2-second fast cut and a lot of special effects. This was like a movie. Like, you know how like Oppenheimer was like a movie? This is a movie. And here in the middle of the decade, it's very refreshing when someone makes an actual movie. Adam Sandler, of course, really good in it. And as I published in my Substack on Monday, there are now officially 6 good Adam Sandler movies. The best Adam Sandler movie? Jay Kelly. That is now the best Adam Sandler movie. It is not Adam Sandler's best performance. His best performance is the second best Adam Sandler movie, which is Uncut Gems. I like Jay Kelly even better than Uncut Gems. So we have Jay Kelly, Uncut Gems, basketball movie, space movie, and the 2 with Drew Barrymore. Those are the 6 good Adam Sandler movies. Every other movie Adam Sandler in is complete garbage, but he's good in Jay Kelly, although, minor spoiler, there's a scene where he has to act sad. He's not good at sad. He's just good at normal. If he's just like a normal dude in a scene, he's good. But he has to play sad at one scene, not good at that. Marcello Hernandez does 2 things really well. One is Domingo and variants on that character. The other is a Sebastian Maniscalco impression. We're going to find out just how funny Marcello Hernandez is. He's getting a Netflix special. It's titled American Boy. It'll be on Netflix January 7th. So that at one point will be the best comedy special of 2026. We'll see if it can hold the title. Filmed in Miami, this special sees Marcello Hernandez musing on his experiences growing up as a first-generation American. I hung around to the end of Saturday Night Live to watch the credits. Remember a couple weeks ago we were talking about how Nikki Glaser kind of got iced by the cast during the Good Nights? Well, Melissa McCarthy did not get iced. I saw people hugging her. Good episode. Colin Jost was really good in it, both as Pete Hegseth and during the news. Sarah Sherman also did well. And then during the Good Nights, I saw Cam Patterson standing there, and I was like, oh, I don't think you were in anything this week. Are you even on the show? I think he's been on the show about 6 minutes more than I have this season. I did see a thread on the Threads social media app, which is really good for comedy. It's actually better than Twitter X for comedy these days. But I saw somebody raving about Cam Patterson, saying he's got superstar talent, and people were tagging that going, yes. So I guess that's what Lorne Michael sees, but whatever everyone's seeing, it's not appearing on SNL. Maybe he's an awesome stand-up, but it ain't happening on Saturday nights. My boiler's still not fixed. It is freezing here, so I might have to cut this little short. I've got a space heater in the basement, and then the quote-unquote studio is a room also in the basement, but it's a separate room without a space heater, and my feet are freezing, even though I've only been talking to you for about 10 minutes. If you missed it yesterday, around noon Eastern, I dropped the Comedy Survivor selection show, 16 comedians, 1 comedy survivor. You can go back and listen to that one. We'll start playing that game in January. Out today on the 800-Pound Gorilla YouTube channel, it's Nicole Byers' An Evening of Crowd Work. Let's talk about friend of the show, Jason Zinnemann from the New York Times, back-to-back days over the Thanksgiving holiday or so. He had written a piece called Clean Comedy is Back, this time without the judgment. He focused on comedians like Nate Bargatze, Leanne Morgan, and Dusty Slay. Jason writes, as an alternative to the coasts, the stand-up scene that gets the most attention these days is Austin, but Nashville, I'd argue, is the more important comedy city. It has a large industry footprint. He mentions the 800-Pound Gorilla, which I mention a few times a week, and is a major destination for podcast guests. It's where Theo Vaughn tapes his show. But most important, Nashville has emerged as the center of a resurgent clean comedy scene. Zinnemann writes, the extent of the Nate Bargatze phenomenon may not be entirely clear because he doesn't show up in the discourse. He doesn't beef with other stars and steers clear of controversy. His success stems from the insight that audiences still wanted but weren't getting, the kind of escapist, broadly likable comedy that was a regular part of the cultural diet on network television in the 1980s and 90s. So to me, this is Foxworthy theory. I've told the story before. I sat in a room with Jeff Foxworthy many years ago, and I asked him to explain his brand to me, and he was sitting across from me, and he held up his hands, And he said, I realized if I stopped cursing, I picked up the kids and the grandmas, and then he held his hands wider, indicating a larger audience. Now, I'll push back on this one. Jason wrote about Nate and Dusty. They are Southern comics with accents they wear lightly, and they don't play the country rube the way the stars of the Blue Collar Comedy Tour did in the early 2000s. Cable Guy, yes, absolutely. Foxworthy, somewhat, but I think Foxworthy is overshadowed by his trademark "you might be a redneck" bit. Other than that, I don't think Jeff really leaned into that too much. Bill Engvall did not, and Ron White did not. Anyway, good stuff as always from Jason Zinneman. I won't go W. Kamau Bell on you. That's your comedy news for today. I got to go get warm. See ya.